Little bit of a Ford side valve section here, prefect here first of all.
It's lowered, does disc brakes on the front, got wishbone suspension on the front, got an Abarth instrument cluster.
Today on CarTraction we are at one of my favourite events, the Audlem Festival of Transport, which sees all form of lovely classic cars and commercial vehicles line up at the first field. Then we go on a lovely road run around Audlem. All the people come out their houses and wave at us, and then we go to the simply massive second field where we will have a little look at everything. It's still very early in the morning, so plenty more will be arriving, but there's already a fair share there of lovely classic cars. We are here at the back in the Dodge pickup, pretty similar as always, but with one big difference. Just look at that. Yesterday me and Dad dug out this old gem, which is an old fairground ride based on a sort of 60s Lotus, which is a really cool car. I think we did have other pedal cars, but I think that one just looks fantastic in the back of the truck. If we step out a little bit, it's mounted on a couple of well, not mounted, just placed on a couple of ammo boxes just to lift it up a bit, and we'll have it like that during the run, which should be quite interesting. Certainly great to have the truck out again. Amongst some of the other commercials there will be so much more coming here, but at the moment a Bedford CA and a lovely little Austin. A few classic gems here, as I just said before. Starting off with a lovely little BMC pairing, starting off with the Austin Cambridge here, the Farina shape, really pretty car in my opinion. I love some of these BMC cars, really handsome shape. The Farina design car is very iconic as well. Lovely Morris van here as well, slightly earlier I'd say, not quite the Farina shape with the more domed features of the likes of the earlier Westminsters and other BMC cars, and then in the 60s they went to this design of the more pointy Farina shape. Here is Grandad in his MGB GT, also flying the flag with a few stickers on the back. Let's have a little look if any gems. Lovely TR3A MGB, there'll be plenty of those here. Dolomite Sprint. And of course I'm gravitating towards a Wolseley 1500, always love these cars, and the Riley 1.5s. I just can't help loving these really pretty cars. Let's have a closer look at the front, just beautiful aren't they? The Wolseley, the slightly more posher upmarket variant of the likes of the Riley 1.5, which was a bit sportier with the twin carb engine, but the Wolseley is still a lovely car nonetheless. Here is another lovely little car, Wolseley Hornet, but this car is supercharged. Seen it loads of times and it doesn't get old because it is just absolutely lovely, isn't it? Ooh, goody, yet another Wolseley 1500, but I won't look at that one too much because we've just had an extensive look at one. There's also a Ford Pop here. We're not in the Anglia today, actually hasn't been to a show for a while, with a Ford Pop, the slightly cheaper variant of the likes of the Anglia, with a steel dash where ours is Bakelite and a few other little differences. Another great classic car I really like is this Herald 1360, great starter classic. I can actually see myself in one of these. Really practical car, lots of bits around for the traps, and the best thing about these is you can sit on the tyre as you work on the engine because the whole bonnet lifts up like that, which is a great design with all the 60s, 70s Triumphs. Let's have a look at the back. I think the 1360 is a really sharp looking car, but I do like the shape of the earlier ones as well. Perhaps the 1360 being a little bit more affordable, but yeah, really lovely cars and a great starter classic next to Mum in our little MX-5. I've hot-footed it over here to have a look at this beautiful little Ashley. Very rare special car. Really cool body shape. I think Dad has had a bit of a history with these. He's had a couple of them in his time. As yet more MGBs roll in. They are really the car of the day. There's so many here. There's usually loads anyway, but yeah, there's so many here. Back of the Ashley, I think these are a really cool shape actually. And a very rare car. I just like some of the slightly more oddball stuff like that. Beautiful to see, I think. Or the whole bonnet would lift forwards like the Triumph Heralds. Then we've seen sliding windows. It's all quite sort of racing focused, fairly stripped back interior with the metal dash. And the very cool little GT back. I really like these. Also side pipes, just a little 4-cylinder in these, so not quite a V8 rumble, but still quite cool, isn't it? I like that. I presume that's the little filler cap. That's quite a cool sporty one, isn't it? Just a really cool car. I like the wing mirrors as well, actually. They're quite a cool shape. Lotus Gang, quite a few Caterhams. So many variants. I'm not too good on all the variants of those, I'm afraid. All evolutions of the Caterham 7. It's also a more modern Lotus, mid-engined. Another Caterham, a Kawasaki motorbike. There's always a few bikes here. Cool lineup. Rolls-Royce Silver Spirit. And just behind that is a lovely little Lotus Elan. Those are really pretty cars, especially that one. Seen it a couple of times, and I really like the coupe bodies of those. Really beautiful little car. Superlight R500 it says on the side of that Caterham, and a TR7 here. There's a yellow TR7 Sprint. This one's in red. You don't see many in red, actually. Nice to see a few Triumphs here today. Beautiful Jaguar Mark II coming in now. A Kyriakos-ish blue. That is stunning, isn't it? Lovely painted wires. They always look good on painted wires. I prefer them to chromes. That is lovely, isn't it? 3.8 as well. Really nice car. Another favourite of mine has to be this pre-war BSA over here. Really like this sort of thing. Looks to have a pre-selected gearbox as well. Didn't know these had that setup, similar with all sorts of pre-war Rileys. Lovely condition inside, all nice and original. Really beautiful pre-war car there. I like the flat radiator as well on this type of car. Lovely lamps on the front. Really beautiful car. Little bit of a Ford side valve section here, Prefect here first of all, with the very cool sun visor. 100E shape, very popular, nice and easy to work on. Side valve, great club as well, nice original Blue Mel's, I want to say, registration on there. Absolutely mint 100E Prefect. Next to that, like the clip-on wire walls, I believe those are. They might actually be painted on, but some of them had Holford sort of clip-on type wire walls. Absolutely immaculate inside. There's a lovely Lanchester LD10 rolls past. You just see it over there. And a very tasty Rudge motorbike. Rudges have to be some of my favourites. Here's the interior of the 100E. Very practical little classic car to own. A couple of little Frog Eye sprites, Mark 1s. And an E493A Ford Prefect here. We used to have the E93A, but this is the evolution with the headlamps in the wings. Slightly later. What a lovely car this is. Anglia would have fitted in well with these, but we're in the truck at the back. Here's the front of the Prefect. Seen this car a few times before. Lovely condition. Rolls Royce Silver Shadow. A couple of them actually. And here is an Austin 12.4. Seen this one a few times before. I love the sort of nickel plated, all the sorts of little garments on the side. I don't quite know what to call them. Lovely door handles. Just really quality car. Side screens as well. Let's have a little peek inside. Very typical 20s interior. Really beautiful, and it is worth noticing this is not chrome. I believe this is like nickel plated or something like that, which is what you see with the likes of these really early Austins and some of the larger upmarket cars. Another regular Morris J type here. Seen this one plenty times before. Lovely little commercial. Triumph Spitfire 1500 in yellow. An MGB Roadster. So many of those here today. Also quite a few tractors. Not many with people riding in the back though. A beautiful old Rover here. I believe this is a P3 car. This one, let's have a little look at the interior. This is the Sport Saloon body, I believe, with the slightly lower roofline. Sounded like a 6-cylinder car when it came in. What a beautiful quality car this is.
Certain rules, but because they're
This is a 16 Rover, so the largest and fastest of them all, with the lovely straight six up front, really nice livery as well, and the two-tone. What a beautiful car that is. Love some of the pre-war styled cars. It might just be post-war, but it certainly were made pre-war as well, and it's pre-war in its design. Absolutely fantastic there. Austin Cambridge, bit more Farina goodness. Yet another MGB GT, Fiat 500, and very early MGB Roadster with the TD steel wheels and the sprung steering wheel, which is a much earlier variant of these. Very tasty looking Opel Manta here in a bit of a Rothmans-esque livery. I'm just having a quick dash around due to slightly threatening weather, but hopefully I'll get a full review done of all the classic cars here. On the second field, Beetle and a lovely Rolls Royce here. Real quality car. Let's have a little look on the interior. What a beauty that is. It's actually got a modern automatic gearbox if we just look over there. So perhaps not all is as it seems with this Rolls Royce. A little interesting modification. Well hidden though, because it looks completely original from the outside. Some slightly later lights at the back perhaps as well. So there's all sorts of little mods and updates going on with this. It's also worth mentioning plenty of MGAs here. That's a fixed head car. Vauxhall Nova here, not the American huge V8 car, but the little British hatchback. Moggy Mine 1000 with some very nice MIDI lights on it. Austin 1800. Austin 10.4 Litchfield here. Really nice pre-war car. Love these domed Lucas headlamps. They are just beautiful, aren't they? Fantastic oily ride condition. Just look at that interior. You just cannot replicate that. And also smells quite nice. Unfortunately, I can't convey smell on my camera, but it really does smell nice in there. Beautiful pre-war Austin. Ford Cortina here, Mark II. Jaguar. There's also a Morris 8 Tourer over there. Similar to our little minor Tourer, but the larger Morris 8, obviously. Quite a few cars rolling in now. A Cortina, a bit modified, and a Jeep. Another Moggy Mine 1000 here, a more modern Aston Martin. VW Golf and a little Austin A35 here. The evolution of the A30 with the 948cc engine in this one. Real competitor to the likes of our little Standard 8. And they're both a pair of very cute little cars, the Standard and the Austin. The A35 having many updates such as the larger engine as I mentioned and the painted grille. Funnily enough, these had exactly the same engine sizes as the Standards, the A30 and Standard 8 having the 803 and the A35 and Standard 10 having the 948, which seems like a bit of a coincidence, but interesting little fact about these old cars. Here's all the Caterhams, all the Lotus lot, and a very cool Zephyr in bright blue here. Great usable condition, looks quite original as well actually. Great 6-cylinder burble coming out of this car. Really pretty car these are, I think. Very nice, 427 Cobra, a little Abarth Fiat, and on the end here a Lanchester LD10, a Briggs bodied car in a very dark blue or dark purple. These are just fantastic, aren't they? Pre-selected gearbox. I always love the bonnet release on these early Lanchesters. Really lovely design of these. A beautiful car in my opinion, just post-war I believe. There you go, 1947. It was bodied. What a lovely interior as well. It's also a lovely little pre-war Standard. We've seen her a couple of times before. And just behind that, a beautiful old Riley. Let's have a closer look at this. This is the sort of car I was talking about being pre-selector. That is great, isn't it? Oily ride condition. I love the rear windows in that as well. Really suits it. What a beautiful car that is. Sounds quite fruity as well, actually. Really lovely oily ride condition. It's just starting to rain a little bit, so I'm going to have to dash around a bit before we go on our run. That is beautiful, and I love the front. The distinctive grille of these early Rileys, really nice condition there. Much prefer to see one in this used and original condition than a restored one. And here one of the many other MGAs. Nice early Capri here. This is a 1300 car, so one of the slightly smaller engines, but in beautiful condition, really lovely shape. Some of these slightly earlier Capris, really like them. Let's have a close look over here. VW camper, a more modern Mercedes, and an HC Viva, very common car next day, but now not at all. Here's the fantastic BSA. I really love that car. A closer look at this very tasty Mark II Jaguar as well. This is the slightly larger bumpered car, which just means it's slightly earlier. Nice original blue Mel's plates as well. Really beautiful in the Courier Cost Blue, I'm pretty sure this is, which is the sort of colours that the likes of the D-types and C-types would have raced in. This looks nice and original actually. It's a 4-speed manual overdrive car, 3.8 largest engine. Painted wise as well, just really nicely weathered. You can see the interior looks nice and original as well. I much prefer the likes of sort of slightly weathered seats. Have a look around the back, lovely 6-cylinder burble coming out of here. Really beautiful example here. Really love that. What a tasty car that is. Lovely early Austin Healey here. This is a 100M, so the racing variant, the slightly earlier variant to the likes of the 3000. I think I probably prefer the look of some of the 4 or the 106 cars. There's just the style of the interior on these earlier cars is absolutely beautiful. And the M, the most sporty variant, nice louvers on the bonnet as well, nice leather strap as well, really, really stylish car. I think I definitely prefer the look of these ones, I think, at the front. A Rover P4, let's look around here, lovely little MG 1100 or 1300, the sporty variant of some of the ADO 16 cars. That would have been most likely Morris or Austin. A very happy Land Rover, see this everywhere. And a couple of fast forwards, an RS 2000 Escort here. A few nice commercials over here at the back. There's a very lovely little pickup. This is a Jowett Bradford van over here. What a pretty little pickup. This is similar to the likes of the E83W, but the Jowett variants are a lot rarer. And a very interesting example there. I really like that. What a sweet little pickup that is. Bit of an overflow parking section here. You Triumph Stag in yellow, looking very nice. And I thought I'd have a little look at this. This is a Bonded Creep. I believe these are called. Very rare little special car. Really quite a cool design, I think, those. I really like that. Mini Moke, MX-5 Mark II, and yet another 100E Prefect. There really is quite a few cars down here. Midget, VW, E46 Cabriolet. Oh, my lens cap just went into my thing. Austin Allegro. Quite a tasty looking Sunbeam Alpine Mark IV with some Wolf Race wheels. And an Alpha Spider over here. Quite an early car with the covers over the lights. Really, really pretty car in my opinion, these. Do like some of the Alphas, just really elegant, aren't they? Very tasty looking twin cam engine. I guess it's the interior. Wow, so graceful inside. A Corsair GT here, next to a Corsair Crayford, the convertible conversion. What a pair that is, but that Alpha is really, really lovely. Everyone's firing up their engines, such as this Capri, as the parade is imminent, but we'll be quite late into the parade due to all these classic cars will be going first and then the commercials after, so that actually does give us a bit of an opportunity to have a look at some of them going on to their parade, as we've got a bit of time before our lot go the commercial lot. So I think we'll start going up towards our Dodge where we can do a bit of a Le Mans start jumping in a matter of seconds, and see if we can find a few of them going off onto their parade. Another little look at this ADO 16 MG, the twin carb sporty variant. And the Happy Land Rover once again, with a very sharp pairing of Escorts, and our little Dodge truck just peeping through over there. First off is the Golf GTR, looking very official with the little light on top, and a few of the tractors. Fordson Super Major first of all. Our turn now. We've seen a few of them go, but soon it'll be the commercials' turn. Well, we've made it through the parade somehow. Now the truck behaved well. It was very slow because we are a little bit at the end, but the truck behaved well and it was a good test. We're actually on the end of a row here because we were in last place, which is good because then people can see the lovely Lotus Fairground racing car, which is good, but very nice to see the Dodge behaving all well. And now let's have a little look to see if we can find any gems in this second field. Quite warm in there. Well, here we are in the second field, and let's see if we can find anything new. Starting off with this Austin 7 box saloon, the chrome rad, so the earlier style, also some nice semaphore indicators, probably Trico there. 747cc, forcing the lump under there. Next to that, a Model T pickup, that is cool, isn't it? An MGB Roadster with some nice little louvers on the bonnet there. An absolutely immaculate MGB Roadster rubber bumper. Quite similar to ours actually in a way, the one we used to have. A couple of midgets here. Plenty MGs here today, bit of an MG section perhaps here. RV8, very cool indeed. Slightly more modern T-Series. TF, a pairing of TFs nonetheless. And the Sunbeam Talbot Tourer. Seen this one plenty times before. Really beautiful, just post-war Tourer, very smart car in my opinion. Very tasty Sunbeam Alpine just over here in beautiful condition. This is quite an early car with the larger fins at the back. Some of the later cars lost these fins at the back, but I prefer the earlier style. I think that is just lovely, isn't it? I really like the shape of the back of some of these earlier cars, but the later ones also still really nice. I do like Sunbeam Alpine. Sports car's really pretty little car, I think, and actually I quite like the colour of that. All the chrome's lovely. I like Roots Group. Just over here is a very interesting little car. This is quite close to Grandad. A Saab 96 V4. But not just any, this one hides a little bit of a surprise under the bonnet, which is in the form of this turbocharger here. This is one of the best mods I've ever seen on the likes of the Saab V4s. You don't see these modded that often, but this is just really nice. It's slightly earlier front, even though we can't see it, with the very interestingly hinged bonnet. But very cool indeed, and I bet that will probably go quite well. Very tasty MGB GT on the end here. Seen so many of these. This one's got quite a large sunroof in the top, like a Webasto sort of thing. Nice early interior as well. I like the sprung steering wheels, as I've said many times. Nice old Rover P4. This is 110, so a 6-cylinder car. Such a quality car. These very affordable classic as well, actually, because those will do motorway speeds. 1964. This car is fun. This is a 2.6 6-cylinder car. 123 brake horsepower, said as new, which is quite a lot actually for a car like this. I bet that'll probably go quite nicely actually. And a lovely sound out of the straight six. Little Abarth Fiat here. Something to note on these is how the bonnet or the boot, I don't quite know what to call it, is suspended for a bit of cooling just under there. We might have to do something like that with our, we've got a little Renault 4CV. There we are. So is this an original Abarth car?
No,
or is it,
sadly.
So have you modified?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. So what sort of things have been done under here?
It's lowered. Got disc brakes on the front. Got wishbone suspension on the front. Got an Abarth instrument cluster. The engine's been bored out from 652 to 659. sports exhaust, electronic ignition, fully ported head, different carburetor, lighter flywheel.
Wow. So did you all do this yourself, did
Done all
you?
the mechanical work.
Okay. So what year is this one then?
72.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I really like what you've
the
done
little
with
Renault
it.
4CV, basically the Renault sort of equipment of this.
Yes, yeah.
You can put Renault 14 engines in the back
Yes,
of them.
I saw one recently with a Renault 5 engine in it, which must have gone
They
quite
go very well.
I'm sure.
Renault 5, yeah.
Ours doesn't go very well. It's only the original
that's
750,
750,
20 brake horsepower.
Actually, this is 34.
Oh, wow. It sounded quite good. I remember seeing this one at the Combermere maybe, and it certainly did sound quite purposeful.
Sorry?
At the Combermere meets.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
Yeah, the piggery, and it sounded quite purposeful.
yes.
I like it.
Yes.
I like this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Have you owned this one long then over the
11
time?
years.
Wow, okay. And it's just been steadily sort of modifying it bit by bit.
Yeah.
Wow, it's a really lovely car. I like that.
Goes quite well too.
I'm sure, yeah, because it's not much that 34 brake horsepower to push along, is it?
Oh, yes.
So did you design this bit as well
No,
to hold
they're standard Italian because everyone thinks it's for cooling, but it's not.
Is it not? What is it for then?
Mid-60s, Abarth who were then a separate company, were doing a track day test with a 1000 TC, which was a Fiat 600 based Abarth. And they found that the more they raised the engine cover, the faster the car went. It's a very early boot spoiler.
I guess.
So
yeah.
by the time they've got it fully horizontal,
So is that why?
it did 6 miles an hour to top speed. So
Wow.
it does a little bit of cooling,
Yeah.
mostly it's aerodynamic. However,
Wow.
whether it makes any difference to the top speed of this is purely open to debate.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, we might have to do something like that because we're having a bit of cooling issues with it.
What
So.
they sometimes do on these is instead of I've got taken away the bits that support it, but you might find that you can do something that just opens the lid a little bit at the back because it hinges at the top as well, doesn't
Yes,
it?
yeah.
So you might find something if you can make a couple of struts that just go in and lift the base of the
Yes.
engine
yeah.
cover round the catch area.
Yeah, we'll
just
have to do a
2 or
bit
3
of a-
inches up, which will allow draft to come through.
Have to do a bit of experimenting.
Yes, yeah.
And this is fantastic to see. I love this.
Try it for size. Come on, try it for size.
Let's have a little look inside then. Hopefully this door's open. There we go. Wow, what a lovely interior, and here it is. Really cool car this, isn't it? Just about fits someone in the back there, but
That's what it's all about these days.
wow, what a fantastic car. 34 brake horsepower, doesn't sound like much, but it would go quite well that. What a brilliant car this is.
Right, let me get a shot.
Huge Ford Thunderbird over here. These had what was known as the Fat Boy steering wheel. You can see it there. That is not quite straight, and that is because the steering wheel tilts to the right slightly, and it's known as the Fat Boy steering wheel, and it just helps the person with an American frame get out. So that's an interesting little mod on this. I mean, it's a huge car already, but it's just quite an interesting little fact about those. So let's see what else we can find. A Morris 8 Series 1 Tourer here, quite similar to the likes of our Minor Tourer, but a bit larger. This is a Series 1 as well with the chrome grille, wire wheels, so slightly early. I think this is a 37 car, I want to say. Lovely condition. Beautiful little pre-war Tourer there. Do like that sort of thing. Here's the back of the Thunderbird. What an incredible car that is. A GT6 there, have a look at that after. This is a 911T, I believe, this Porsche. Oh, yes, it is 2.4 flat 6 in this one, left-hand drive as well. One good thing about rear-engine cars like that Fiat earlier is that the steering is very light on them because obviously there's not much weight at the front. MGB Roadster and a VW Carman gear in orange. This really pops in this colour, doesn't it? Let's have a look at the interior. What a great car this is. I love this actually. Doesn't that just look absolutely great in the orange? Really love that little model in the back there, mini jumps. But that is just absolutely beautiful in that colour, isn't it? I really like that. That's one of the highlights for me. Very cool car there. The very cool Pontiac Catalina here, with an American registration in there. You can see the pillarless design of this car. Absolutely brilliant wafter, isn't it? 3-speed auto, I'd imagine. The Coke bottle shape of the rear window as well, as it's known. That is a pretty impressive car, isn't it? I reckon you'd have to be pretty muscly even just to open the bonnet on that. I accidentally keep coming back to this lovely BSA and the Mark II. Very nice little Moggy Mine 1000 in brown here. Lovely interior inside actually. How brilliant is that? Very cool. Just nip across here. Lovely Mark II Cortina on some Ross style wheels. That looks quite good, doesn't it? Very cool colour in my opinion actually. The light blue interior as well. That is a sharp car actually. I really like that. That is a nice looking car. Next to that, an Austin 1800. Common in period. Well, perhaps actually not common in period, but certainly not common at all now. Extremely rare. Bit of BMC. Would it be BMC? I think it would. It might be British Leyland by then. Please do let me know in the comments if I'm getting anything wrong, or if you like any of the cars here. Moggy Mine 1000 here with some slightly more modern seats inside. A bit more modernised. The 427 Cobra and Rolls Royce over there. Coming back over here, we have what looks to be a Jaguar XK 120, and it is very convincing actually. But this car is actually a replica, but actually it is really well done. It's got an automatic gearbox which gives it away, but really well done replica I think. And the very late MGB, that's actually in immaculate condition. Hard to keep all that plastic stuff really black, and it complements the car really nicely when it is, but it is hard to do. Here, the Austin A35 looked at earlier, and a lovely little VW. Very sharp looking TR6 here. I think this is one of the only TR6s here actually, if not the only. Usually you see them all coming together, about 20 of them in a big club, but no, the only TR6 here. So only the one 2.5 injected straight 6 Triumph TR here. There's an Austin Healey Sprite Frog Eye in there. Far earlier than the likes of this TR6. Different designs, 70s and 50s. Nice looking Anglia. This will be 60s this car. Quite a few mods. And it's quite cool, isn't it? I like the interior of that as well. Nice mini light wheels. A couple of nice lamps on the front as well. Great example of a fast Ford there. MGA. And I absolutely love this pre-war Riley over here in brilliant oily ride condition, just how we love to see them. I believe this is a Kestrel perhaps body shape, but I'm not too sure. I like the Riley branded lamps as well. Just the front of these is just absolutely beautiful. Here's the little standard pre-war with a very appropriate little instruction book. Standard car, 1934, standard 10. So a very early car for standard, little clam special. And a Lanchester LD10 over here, Briggs body. They were bodied by another company, but I can't remember the other company. Just post-war saloon, very smart indeed. Bit of a Rolls Royce corner here, starting off with the Silver Shadow 1 hardtop, and then beyond that is a Silver Shadow convertible. I believe those were known as a Corniche. Slightly rare variant, very high quality of course these cars, as always. 6.75 litre V8 up front in both of these cars as well. Matched up to a 3-speed, I believe, automatic box. Very handsome car indeed, aren't there? Bit of information on this one, the Mulliner Park Ward Saloon. Oh, it says this is a Corniche as well. It's actually a 2-door, so I presume those seats will lift forward for rear passengers, but heavy seats to lift forward, aren't they? Wow. Lovely quality interior. Actually something completely different. I love this show. So many different classic cars. A Cabriolet Beetle, quite a late one with the likes of the indicators on the top of the arch, but still very cool indeed. Another predictable favourite of mine is this Mark III GT6 here with the bonnet up. As I was talking about, you can sit on the tyre because the whole bonnet comes forward. The 2 litre straight 6 there, lovely engine. Really like these, the GT style. Very pretty car indeed. More of a sports car than a GT, as in the name, but still very cool indeed. 6-cylinder sports car is certainly a good recipe, and the GT6 is no exception. Lovely car. Quick look at the interior of this Ford Galaxy, such a space age design in my opinion. Just look at that, what a view over the bonnet as well. Fantastic car there, just from the Carmen gear over there, which I also really like. The W123 shaped Mercedes over here. Very cool little coupe. Actually, no, not little at all. Absolutely massive. Really smart car, in my opinion. Very sharp lines. Looks very classy in the silver, doesn't it? I've always quite liked those. MX-5 Mark 1 and XJS. A very cool little comma pickup. Fiat Punto Sport, a mini, one of many here today. And quite a cool Ford V8. I wouldn't say it's quite as original as ours, considering the wheels, and it might have a swapped engine and it looks quite low. Still very cool nonetheless. It's actually a manual one, this one. A lot of these, when you see them hot rodded, they do get converted to autos, but I always prefer them a manual. I'm sure it's not, that's actually a 6-speed in there, but usually they'd be like our truck, the 3-speed, but certainly been very modded, that one. Mini moke here, very rare variant, quite desirable actually, and I can see why they must be a great fun little car. Its own yellow Triumph Stag. Oh, thank God there's another TR6 here. And the little Bondi Keep. I can tell you a bit more about this car now. It's Herald based. You can see the Herald door just there, and the sort of Triumph DNA hinted everywhere. The whole bonnet would lift up on the front there, so you can sit on the tyre and work on the engine again. 1967 car, this one. Some of these were actually based on the Vitesse, which were a 6-cylinder, but this is just a Herald, so it's got the 1147cc engine in it. And I think a really nice variant of the old Herald. Quite a good looking car, I think. Just behind me is the fantastic 100M Austin Healey. Really love that car. I really like the look of the chrome going around the cockpit of some of the slightly earlier cars like the 100s. Really nice. Another car I haven't seen before is this Sunbeam Talbot 90. Really pretty little 50s saloon car, I think. Column shift, as most of the cars of this era were, but they didn't really catch on, did it, in the years after. Lovely car in two-tone. Very stylish, I think, aren't they? Here's the fantastic Rover P3. Haven't seen this car for a while, actually. Just stunning quality. Really is a beautiful car. Straight 6 up front. Just post-war, I'd imagine like 46 or 47 at a guess, but just a really nicely made car. Really beautiful car. We just came down here to have a little leisurely look at some of the canal boats, but lo and behold, what is this over here? A bull-nosed Morris Cowley in front of the Audlem Mill. Looks very nice actually in front of it. Lovely condition. Let's get a little angle of it with the very pretty building in the background. There you go. How great does that look? A 2-seat tour perhaps, this car I believe. Yeah, and perhaps a dicky seat in the back there. What a lovely little car. Also a couple of lovely traction engines here. I always love watching the little gubbins of these working away. Lovely, aren't they? A couple more here. I'm afraid I know absolutely nothing about these. They're a bit heavier than my speciality, but good to see them nonetheless. Well, I think that's pretty much our day done at this year's Festival of Transport of 2023. Please do let me know what you thought on this video and of any of the cars here, including our Dodge truck, which truly is a Bobby Dazzler, in the comments below.
It is.
Correct. As is the little Lotus racing car in the back there.
It's its first public airing.
You may have noticed I'm in the left seat, which usually would not be the driver's side, but I'll be taking us home tonight, so...
Driving us home, are you?
Yeah, well...
I think I'll walk. I'll walk.
Give it a couple of years and I'll be here in the Standard or something.
Terrifying thought.
Anyway, that's it from us now. Thanks for watching.